Years ago, when I was a young exercise physiologist, I was interested in factors that were functioning to help prevent heart disease. And I ran into a research paper that said that we know of only two things that reduce rates of heart disease. And they were physical activity and alcohol consumption. How about that? Alcohol consumption. Now, my wife gave me a book a couple years ago about the French and the Germans in World War II. And the Germans wanted to take all the French wine, which the French stuffed into caves and other places to keep it out of their hands. The French made a bottle of wine available per day, per person. And for soldiers, they made 2 bottles a day per soldier for the course of the day, because they knew alcohol induced good health. In fact, alcohol is one of my key anti-aging strategies. The overall philosophy of my anti-aging strategy is that you need to induce a stress on the body, a stress that is of significant dose or strength, to cause the body to make an adaptation. If it's too much of a stress, then you're going to harm the body. So you got to find the right dose. And then the body marshals all of its defensive strategies because of the stress, which in turn makes it stronger. So alcohol is one of the keys here. Now, another thing that alcohol will do if you consume it, and you want to maintain your calorie intake and not consume too many calories, you cut back on your carbohydrate intake. Now, this does a couple of good things. The carbohydrate eating leads to glucose production, which leads to glycation of your proteins. So in that process, that makes a stable compound called a glycated protein. And the alcohol will also bind to your proteins, but it doesn't get stable. It's weak. It just breaks apart after a while and doesn't form the actual glycated protein. So you won't get glycated proteins from the consumption of alcohol. And it's the compound in the alcohol called acetaldehyde that does this. So don't fear alcohol. I fear fruit far more than I fear alcohol. And I think, and other high starch vegetables are to me a major problem. And you should really avoid them. And alcohol consumption is a good thing, as long as you don't misuse it. But our moralistic, puritanical belief systems, which are pushed into the idea that the thinking is scientific, is not scientific at all. They were developed to persuade us not to do that, not to drink, because it's supposed to be so bad for you. So that's the story on alcohol.